Throughout your life, you're going to stumble upon certain landmarks that you're going to use to measure where you are at that point in time. Like your first kiss, your first job, the first time you get fired from Guitar Center for refusing to be clean-shaven, even though the guy in Pro Audio has a tattoo of a spider on his face. But did you know that the fretboard on your guitar also has landmarks that will help you kind of understand it? So today we're going to use major chords, scales, and arpeggios to kind of link together little pieces by using what I like to call landmarks, right? So basically, the example that we're going to use is going to sound something like this. All right, and all that is I'm cycling through 3 different chord voicings and playing them individually. Now, that's just a pretty bare bones demonstration of it. There's really no limit to what you can do once you start thinking in different landmarks throughout the fretboard. And we're just gonna get started with this A major chord, okay? So you can play it as a bar chord, you can play it with your fingers like this, but it's just open A, 2D, 2G, 2B, and then open E if you can get it, right? So basically, we're doing this, we're thinking in the key of A, all right? And if you've seen some of the other videos, we've done major arpeggios, where like if you did A, it would sound like this. Okay, so really, just real quick to review that one, it's just open 2, 4 on the A string. You go the A string, and then you're making your way to its major third, which is a C sharp. A major third is always 4 frets higher than the root note on any same string, which we're going to get more to later. But basically we have open, 2, 4, 2, D, right? This is the 5th of the chord in E. A, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, all right? Open, 2, 4, 2, D, down a string, and we're going to do the same thing. This is another A. So another 2 frets, another whole step into its major third. And then we're going to end on the 5th fret of the B string, which is another E. All right, so now you'll also notice that we've talked a lot about relative minor in some of these videos. And the relative minor of A is what? You can always find out by going 3 frets backwards. So if A is the 5th fret on the E string, we go to an F sharp. So the F sharp minor pentatonic scale is something that's going to come in handy too. Now if you notice, when you went through that arpeggio, there's a lot of overlap. So it doesn't really matter if you're thinking in the relative minor pentatonic, if you're thinking in chord tones, if you're thinking in voicings. It doesn't matter because they're all just different ways to get you to start thinking of the same notes along the fretboard, right? And the way we're gonna start using landmarks to tie this together is from a chord voicing. So we have this A major chord voicing. Now if you add the 5th fret on the high E string, that's another A, okay? Now, it seems like a super reach to kind of add that note in there, but we don't even have to play this note. I'm just thinking of this note as a landmark because, okay, 3 frets higher than this chord voicing is going to take me to the 5th fret. Now, this is where that A major bar chord exists, or just a triad, like an F sharp, an F major triad right here. This is an A, 5B, 6G, 7D. So we're going to start tying all this together, right? So we can start with this A chord, and then I'm just doing 2 to 4 on the D string, 2 to 4 on the G string, which maybe I'm thinking of that from the minor pentatonic. And then I'm going to slide into another position. Where did I get that from? I got that from the A major arpeggio that we started here. 2, 4, 6, 5, right? And that kind of brings me into maybe what I see as that landmark, the 5th fret, where that triad chord, that F-shaped triad chord exists. All right, so I'm just going through arpeggios, scale shapes. I can slide back into it knowing that I can always go 3 frets higher than where my original chord was, and that's gonna give me the next voicing I'm going to. Now the voicing after this that we're going to go to is going to be yet another major third higher. So now if I'm thinking of my ring finger, the 7th fret on the D string, that's an A. Again, the names of the notes are not essential for this, they're really handy to know. If I go a major third higher on the same string, we talked about that's 4 frets, right? So I can slide this 4 frets higher from 7 plus 4 is 11. Now if I have that same shape, but I switch my middle finger and my index finger. So now I have 11D with my ring finger, 9G with my pointer finger, and 10B with my middle finger. That's another inversion of an A major chord. In fact, if you like using those chord shapes, that would be like a C major shape starting on an A, okay? But we're thinking of it as a way to get from this triad to this triad. You don't have to play them as chords. You can pick it and down, right? So we've got a chord, pentatonic, arpeggio, into a chord voicing, into another chord voicing. And that's just a bunch of A stuff going on. You can do this for absolutely any major chord. Let's do like a C. So C major chord would be like if you did the double bar chord way, it would start rooted on the 3rd fret of the A string, or we can just walk the same exact thing, exercises, up A sharp, B, C to the 5th fret. Now everything that we did can be repeated. Now just like the F sharp minor pentatonic went with the A major, when we're in C, you probably already know the A minor pentatonic goes there. So now we have C, and then we can do the same thing, landmark it, right? So my pinky is lining up with what's now the 8th fret, 3 frets higher than where I started. So I can throw that triad down there, and then I can go a major third higher from here, the 10th fret of the D string, into the 14th fret, into my next C chord, just like that, right? So I think this is especially handy when maybe you're kind of improvising, soloing over a chord progression, and you only have like a limited amount of time. It can be any kind of chord progression. It can go out of key. Anytime you see a major chord, you can just find a spot, no matter where it is. If it's G major is really easy because it's just the open D, G, and B strings, right? You just take that. Everything just moves down. You can go from this G to this G to this G. All it is just cycling through those chord progressions, going a major third higher, and then taking it back to maybe where you started into different pentatonic shapes. You don't have to use that one. You can make up any kind of pentatonic lick or arpeggio lick that you want, but it's just a good way to start thinking of major chords throughout the fretboards and how to connect different voicings using kind of like a landmark system. I really like the one where you have that kind of bar chord and then 3 frets higher gets you into that spot, right? So anyways, definitely start combining those with some of the minor ones we did in a previous video. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up on the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.